Welcome back to Sportsbook Review Videos. There's only 2 weeks before the NBA season tips off, and it is time once again to take a look at some of these divisional future odds from Bet Online Sportsbook. We've covered a couple in the East. Now it is time to take the final division, the Southeast Division, which may actually have some of the best divisional future odds on offer here from the sportsbooks this summer. And the favorite right now from Bet Online, the Atlanta Hawks, plus 180. Really hard to argue with them as the Atlanta Hawks of old to win the division here, even though they lost Al Horford, brought in Dwight Howard. Some of these veterans that they have, like Thabo Cephalosha, like a guy like Jarrett Jack coming off of injury, can help along a young point guard like Dennis Schroeder, who's taking over for Jeff Teague, which I think is actually an improvement here for this club. You do have to look at the Hawks as a favorite. They are not an overwhelming favorite, though, because there are two teams in this division that could give them some trouble, one of which is the Washington Wizards at plus 220. That's really hinging on if John Wall and Bradley Beal stay healthy, of course. Beal is a perennial injury risk, and Wall's coming off 2 knee surgeries this summer, but along with the core that they have, along also with bringing in Markieff Morris last year at the trade deadline, this is a very good club, but they are also still very young and inexperienced, and I think plus 220, maybe just slightly overvaluing them here just a little bit. The team that I think is undervalued, and you probably have to look at it as actually I think the team that I would favor in this division, or at least slightly, is the Charlotte Hornets. BetOnline has them at plus 275, which is an extreme value here right now. Probably one of the most interesting teams in the division. Kemba Walker went through a renaissance last year, really had a huge breakout year. They signed Nicholas Batum, who he can now play shooting guard because of the return of Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, who has not played in the last 2 years because of shoulder injuries. If he's over those and can give this club 80 games this season, that makes for a serious backcourt that could give a lot of teams some problems on both ends of the court. They added depth guys like Marco Bellinelli. They lost Al Jefferson, sure, but they still have Marvin Williams. The guys who are going to be very good for this club. Have some very good front court guys as well, even though they may be a little bit vulnerable there. But still, I think this team is deep enough and talented enough to win this division. Plus 275 is definitely a good value for them right now. Now, two teams coming up at 9-1. The first one, of course, the Miami Heat. We know all about their problems. The Big Three era is gone in this place. Is left Hassan Whiteside, who signed a max deal. Goran Dragic, who, of course, signed. And these two guys represent a core of a rebuild here for this team. Maybe not so much a rebuild. Still going to be competitive. Definitely not competitive, though, to win the division. And finally, the Orlando Magic, their other team in Florida down there, 9-1. Probably a little bit undervalued here. Gone is Victor Oladipo, bringing a new coach, more defensive-oriented. In comes Serge Ibaka, Bismack Biyombo, two very good defensive big men. And, of course, Jeff Green as well, who's been known to play some pretty good defense at time to time as well. So Magic aren't a threat to win the division, not really a threat to make the playoffs. Still a threat, though, to be undervalued. Potentially a good play in the NBA odds as well coming up this season. But that's a look at the Southeast Division. I think the Charlotte Hornets is the best play there at plus 275. Best of luck to you on all your future odds betting for the NBA. And, of course, I will see you back here in a couple weeks for the start of the regular season. But until then, for Sportsbook Review, I'm Jordan Sharp.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.